Hello, hello. The boys trusted me with the stream today, and I'm very nervous, but we're gonna see what happens.
Very one of us.
Changing it up. We are, of course, here to talk about the Traitors, and I am very excited about it. So let's get started. Already giggling. Wow, thanks, Darcy. All right, well, as Darcy told you, I am Gina Morgino - Parks because I have already decided that I am standing the lovely Phaedra, and we will get to why
Solid
in
choice.
just a
Solid
few.
choice.
And of course, I am joined by Kyle Petty Tamburello, of course,
Hello.
CT, and John Dumpy Shallow, standing Parvati. We are very excited. And we are here.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. No,
I was going to say that when I came into the room and I saw that you had already claimed Parks.
Oh, yes.
My heart did sink a little bit, so I decided to go with Parvati instead.
Well, I wasn't sure if we were doing it or not, and Kyle was already there with CT's last name, and I said, perfect. It's like,
I was having
I
was having a rough time deciding who I wanted to be. Was it going to be Kyle Petty
Sure.
Parenza, or was it going to be Kyle Petty Tamburello? I went back and forth.
And I thought about a Giesling, I did, but
yeah.
no, it's gonna be Phaedra for me.
Yeah, I settled on my high school boyfriend.
My high school.
But of course, the three of us make up Strat Chat. I don't mean to brag, but some people might say we're their favorite reality TV podcast.
It has been said.
It has indeed by some people. And we, of course, are here to talk about the first 3 episodes of The Traitors, which I am already so hype about, and I cannot wait to get into it with you guys. I figured since we got like a big drop, instead of going line by line of what happened in the episode chronologically, we should just do a fun little cast assessment because we never did a preseason chat or anything like that. So I think that's the best way to go. And of course, I think no better way to start than with our lovely host.
Oh, man.
Just seeing him on the screen again, I immediately felt warm and fuzzy inside. He is the perfect host for this show.
No, yeah, I totally agree. It's so good to see Alan coming again. And just the outfits being back. Like, that first outfit that he showed up in.
I had forgotten about the outfits until he came out, and I was like, ooh, this is a component of this show that I didn't even know we were doing.
Yes, we got the high fashion.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And I love, like, all of his outfits, obviously, but then, like, all of his funny little, like, things that he does, like during the missions. Let's say everybody's running around like crazy, and he'll just be making these like very funny remarks about like what they're doing. They're not even close enough to even hear what he's saying, but like he's just
shouting to them.
That's the best part about it, though, is like I like when he'll quietly turn to the camera and say something so shady, and it's like, oh my god, you know, they watch the edit later, like, ow,
Alan,
sorry.
what happened to us?
What did he say after the whole bananas, thing with him getting murdered? I think that Alan was like, "There's one thing we won't be serving at today's breakfast: bananas."
It's just the right amount of stupid and campy, but he's the definition of commit to the bit. Like, I have never seen someone more in it, and oh my god, I'm so happy too that he seems to be more like involved this season. Like, we got those little one-on-one chats before anybody was even chosen to be a traitor. We got like that whole thing where he made Dan and Phaedra take an oath when they became traitors to make sure that like they're down for the mission. I was like, this is perfect.
Now that's happened in other seasons though, but maybe not America.
I don't remember it in ours last season.
I know they did that in Australia and the UK.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And there's something else you said there. Oh, I think even in Canada, like they were much bigger in the host having a hand in the selection of traitors. So I was happy to see that come to this as well. Like more sit down time with the people, get to know them.
It's so much fun. And I will never object to more Alan. Like,
no,
give me all he's got.
We should be assessing Alan's attire as well.
We should be. I thought of that.
I didn't until you brought this up. So yeah, next stream, we have to make sure that we are
giving
that answer.
I only was catching up on the first 3 episodes last night, so like I had thought about it, and then I was like, oh, at some point I'll try to have to run back and get pictures of all these outfits, and then I just didn't get a chance before we started tonight.
too bad than
No,
me.
if anybody is serving looks on these shows, it's gonna be Alan Cumming.
That first look when they all showed up with that big red,
Yes.
it was so nice.
And
So good.
I remembered that he like showed up all decked out. When I don't remember who it was, but somebody when they were in the cars was like, "I'm just excited to see Alan's outfit." And I was like, "Oh God, that's right."
Yeah, no, yeah. I don't remember who said it, but I remember that moment. Yeah.
Anything else on our dear host before we start breaking down this cast?
No, just hearts, hearts, and more hearts, Mr. Allen.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go in what I believe is alphabetical order based on the list I saw. So
the alphabet according to Gina.
according to whatever article I was reading that day.
Let's do it. What
So-
you got?
So,
When the way that I put the photos in, just so you know, is like I went in alphabetical order, but like fake alphabetical order because bananas is the first photo that's loaded in
right.
here.
Because I saw that and I went, "Oh no."
So, but yeah,
Wow,
so that's
booby
just
traps all
That's
over.
and then
Yeah, you really did not set me up for success on my first go.
listen. I mean, like,
Although to be fair, I would look under B for Johnny Bananas.
Yeah, that's
right, like,
yeah,
I don't want to type out like his full legal name. Like he's just bananas.
Legal name. All right. Well, contrary to what our list might say, we are beginning with one Bergie.
Unknown.
Yeah, I'm not a Love Island girly, so I don't know any of the Love Islanders that come to us. When I first saw him starting in the first episode, I thought he was going to be a disaster. It's like, this guy is not ready for this. Like, he's too nice. He's too like excited to be here. I don't think he's ready for it. But what really got me on him was in that nighttime mission where they had the like lights or whatever, and he clocked the pattern and kind of led the charge on that. I was like, okay, wait. This, like, he's not a dumb guy. He's ready for
not
this.
dumb. He's not dumb. And just another little notch in his cap there is they did this same competition on episode 6 of Traitors season 2 of UK. And let me tell you, they did not do so hot. Bergie definitely did help lead the charge on this one and lead in some success. So
I was worried because there was a period of time where he was trying to tell them about the pattern and nobody was really listening to him.
Right.
And I was like,
It's like,
oh
listen
no,
to
this
Bergie!
poor boy.
Yeah, I feel like so much time went by and they weren't earning any money. And you're right. Like so many people, they just wouldn't listen to Bergie, and no matter how much he said that he figured out the pattern. Just listen to him. And not only were they not listening to him, but there was one person who kept saying, "By the way, the pattern doesn't work. It doesn't work."
Right.
And I'm like, you're actively working against this guy, and like he's telling you just listen for a second. And like, there's no other strategy that you're using right now that's working. So just listen to the guy.
Why don't you try mine?
Like every dollar that they banked was because he took charge in that one. They wouldn't have gotten anywhere without him.
Yep. Right. Once they started listening to him, they started piling up money like quick.
Jingle jangle. That's the goal.
Yeah, I don't know.
The wheelbarrow.
The wheelbarrow. But yeah, I don't know. Other than that, we haven't really seen a ton of him yet, but I'm sure we're gonna start seeing more rather soon.
I would
Kyle's got his peeping eyes on, so
Yes.
he's ready.
I'm checking it out.
All right, and next we move on, much to Kyle's enjoyment, to one CT.
Woo!
Of course, we know CT very well. We have talked about
Very
him
well.
multiple times. What do we got for CT?
Listen, I love the man, but I'm not 100% sure that he really knows what's going on. But I think that might actually serve him well in this, because if he doesn't truly know what's going on, then he certainly can't be a traitor, right? So I don't think people are going to be looking at him. And I think that he's still intimidating enough that like people are not going to want to say anything about him at the round table, right? This man's going to have to be murdered, because like you say something about him, he's going to leap over that.
Well, I mean, to be fair, someone tried and it did not go over very well for them, because CT was the first one to call out and be like, Max, you're deflecting, and that's why you're talking about other people.
What are you talking about? You're
what
trying to
about
come
you?
with my character. You're trying to say I'm trying to go against somebody I know for 20 years. It's like, I know you better leave this man alone. You better just murder him in his sleep and let that one be that.
murder him in his sleep. Oh my god.
Or let
Oh
him be
man.
recruited down the road or something. I think people are going to be too
Mm.
intimidated to make a move against him. So I
Right.
think I don't know. I would say early pick for at least like the final. I don't want to say
Okay.
to win yet, but I could see him just going far in the game just for that reason.
Yeah. I could see him doing pretty well
Yeah.
for all the reasons that you mentioned. And I think he actually did at one point, because you said that like you're not sure that he even really knows what he's doing in there. And I think he actually said in one of these episodes, like, I have no idea what's going on.
He looks like a deer in headlights. He's
Yeah.
like, looking around.
But all I'll say
it.
is that it's just so good to see CT on my TV screen again. Like I love him.
I'm
love him.
happy to see him in a different environment too. Like this is going to be really, really fun, especially to see how the relationship between him and Trishelle pans out as the season goes on, because they are not besties, and with good reason. Trishelle, I mean, she can kick rocks.
I don't know
Trishelle.
Trishelle.
I hate her. I hate her with a burning, fiery passion.
Oh, then I cannot wait to get to
it just
her.
all just came rushing back. It's like I can't stand her stupid face. I couldn't stand her stupid little scarf thing tied up. Like it's just, everything about the woman just pisses me off.
Do you think it's more likely now though that CT will feel like maybe he has to work with Trishelle since Bananas got sent out so early? Like, do you think he maybe wasn't planning on it and was like got to work with Bananas more, and now that he's gone, like?
I don't know. I think it depends, because again, they've never really been that good of friends to begin with. Like they've never really been that cool. So like, do you go with somebody you just met now that you got a better vibe on? Or do you go with somebody who you've got years of, not so great history with? I don't know. I might take the newbie. So I already know you don't like me. So
and we have seen in the challenge that CT can be very good working with newbies. So
yeah. So,
but
the other thing that I thought was so funny about CT in this is, like, to your point, he both like does and doesn't know what's going on in this game, because we saw like they had that first like puzzle challenge in the water. And if CT and Bananas were not playing that game, they weren't getting anything done. But because that is such a challenge-esque kind of competition, they were like, all right, everybody shut up. Like, this is how we're going to do this. And the only reason that they figured it out was fully because CT and Bananas were like, this is in our wheelhouse, like we got this.
Yeah,
but
those
then
things he understands.
But then you get into like that scarecrow mission, and they got halfway down the thing and he was like, you got the wrong answer. It's not peppermint. We got to go back. We got to fix it. They go back, they bring the other one all the way down. Spoiler alert, it was peppermint, and CT screwed them over and lost them a whole lot of time. And it was like, okay.
Yeah, but I also see him being like, what's a peppermint? What's a peppermint?
What's a peppermint? Oh god.
Yes, and like the most like least offensive way possible, because I really don't get any of those vibes from him. But I can just be him like, I don't know what you're talking about. What is a RuPaul? Like he doesn't know anything about it. Like it's just not his world.
Really hard though, because like while he may not understand the format of the game, he certainly did leap out of that boat for that shield. He was like, bye, I'm out of here.
This is what I understand. I have to do something physical to keep me safe. Yes, that makes good sense to me. The math is mathing.
Yeah.
Splash.
I cannot wait to see what more we get from CT in this game.
Yeah,
I know. He was fun, particularly in that first challenge, him and Bananas, because that really is like the type of challenge that they could see. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So like it was, you could tell that they really were right in their element.
It was perfect for them.
Maybe wish Bananas got a shield.
Well, before we get to Bananas, we have to, of course, talk about the king of Big Brother, Mr. Dan Giesling. I was so excited to see Dan back.
Yeah, no, me too. It's fun to see him on another show.
It's fine.
Oh wow, a lukewarm reception from one Kyle Petty.
It's nothing against him. I just okay, like I just don't think he's going to be exciting television. That's all.
Well, what is exciting to me about this is I feel like we have seen so much of like Dan being a mastermind and Dan manipulating the game and Dan kind of like fading into the shadows and being able to like pull strings from the sidelines. But in a game like this where there is no individual power and there's no one person making the decisions to manipulate, and it is a game where the collective is making all of the decisions, that style of gameplay is not going to serve him, which I think is why we're seeing so many people clocking like, why are you so quiet? Why aren't you saying so much? Why are you only talking to like your couple of people? And I think that might come back to bite him because it's going to be such a wild departure from the game we're usually seeing from him.
Well, it's already starting to, I think, because
Yeah,
his name
I
is already
agree.
coming up and like pretty early. Like, for your name to be floating around in the first 3 episodes is not a great sign. There's already been like discussion about him like at the round table, so like that's concerning.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that it's really for him. Everyone is like, oh my gosh, Dan's back. Oh my gosh, strategic king, and it's like, let's just see, you know.
It's so funny because we have seen multiple people get like we saw it with Parv a little bit, but we also saw it with Phaedra. Like when they finally saw that, like, oh, this is the other traitor, they were like, I never would have guessed. And I was like, the second I saw this man on the cast list, I said, oh, he's a traitor. They're not casting Dan Giesling as a faithful. What do you mean you're so shocked?
I would almost imagine that he would like have that written in his contract. Like, yeah, I'll come on the Traitors.
Be a traitor.
Like, I must be a traitor. Like,
it was just so funny. It was so funny.
I loved when Alan was walking around the table too, picking the traitors, because like the first time that he walked past Dan, he didn't tap his shoulder, and you could see how pissed Dan was that he thought he wasn't getting picked. I thought like that, like actual reaction, that visual reaction that we got, like was funny to me. Obviously, he had nothing to worry about, but
well,
I think that's also what makes it fun that Phaedra was selected as the other traitor. Like, not to I mean, we've already jumped, but like I think that kind of solves the fact that Dan can be a boring person to watch. Like, he's very, very smart, and for all the reasons you just said, like he's going to be able to navigate in a decent way. He's going to give us some good stuff that way. But the one-liners, all the little good things that we also want to see when we're watching reality TV, it's Phaedra that's going to give us
of
that.
course, yeah,
yeah. So I think that they're good together. But
yeah,
Traitor Dan by himself, where's the pillow? Good night, sleepies, snooze fest.
Right. No, definitely.
Yeah.
And this isn't Dan's fault, but it is a Dan thing, so I'm going to bring it up now. I don't know if you guys have noticed this. I have a bone to pick with the editors of this show because every time that like they have that little sheet and you have to write down who's getting murdered or you have to write down who you're recruiting, they zoom in on Dan's hand, and if you're watching, you can tell by the motion of his hand exactly what letters he's writing down. So when they end on a cliffhanger of, oh, who's going to get murdered, I know every single time because I can literally watch him write an N and write a W and write like whatever like the letters are, and I'm like, why don't show that to me.
Do better yeah
do better. Very mad about it.
I think of the international traders, I have to say that as far as like things like that, like editing and like thinking things through, I feel like the American one is a little bit more rushed than everyone else's. Like the rest of them seem like just a shade more polished than ours. It's like we filmed this in 2 weeks and we're done editing in 3 days.
Like, I can see him very clearly writing an S, and the only person with an S in their name is Marcus, so I know Marcus is getting murdered. Like,
who was also very disrespected, but we'll get to that too.
Oh, we sure will.
Yeah.
For now, we will move on to Deontay. Also somebody who is unknown to me. I don't know if either of you are familiar with Deontay pre-Traitors.
No, I love his name, but I love the name Deontay.
Yeah, I'm not like I'm not like a huge boxing fan, but like I know of him.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Deontay's gonna have a hard time with this one.
He's already having a hard time. Really not built for this game. I'm already tired of the tears. Like,
oh wow,
bro, we're playing a game.
He got really emotional, like right out of the gate.
Yes, and it's like I don't know what it is. Like leaning back, his tears just flowing down. Phaedra, she don't even have enough hands to get all the tears away, and it's like this is like getting too crazy. I mean, this is only episode 3. Like, what are we doing, Deontay?
Well, yeah, no, I do agree. It was just interesting to me because like the first one with it being Peppermint, right? That's like the first time we saw him really get upset after that banishment, and then it was funny because he was so upset about that, and I think pretty pissed that people were just going with the herd, not thinking like their own way or whatever. And then when we got to the next banishment, he was the one kind of leading the charge for who got sent out. Very dramatic and theatrical sort of like monologue that he went on about why he was suspicious of Max.
Your nervous energy, or you whatever the way he sang that.
Yeah, it was the drama. I said, oh, he is performing for us.
And
also just like
prayers for Deontay.
Like the tears make me laugh because it's like you have known these people for like 2 days, but it also reminds me of like my favorite thing about the Traitors is when someone gets murdered and they straight up act like somebody died. Like they were eulogizing Marcus at breakfast. And I was like, what are we doing? What are
That's
we doing?
also, it was Larsa that was eulogizing him though.
Yeah.
So funny. And then like as like they like, you know, raise the glass or whatever, and somebody goes, rest in peace, Marcus. And I was
Yeah,
like,
and
he
it's like-
just went home. He
Yeah.
just went home.
Except that I would also say rest in peace. I would just think that's
Right.
funny.
So
It's
funny.
playing into the theme. But like,
Right.
So
honey,
funny.
Larsa, you're not long for this world either. You'll see him in a couple days. Like, don't worry about it. Don't worry
Oh
about
my
it.
god.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
It definitely made me chuckle though.
Yeah.
The rest in peace, Marcus.
Oh, it was so good. It was perfectly timed.
I like it. I do like it.
Next we have Miss Ekin Sue, who is making quite a name for herself right now with the drama with Miss Janelle.
Oh
Yeah. How do you say her last name?
Why would you ask me that when you know damn well that I'm not going to know it right now?
Yeah, I was hoping that you would have.
really
I
why.
knew her first name. Okay, that is all I
wanted
need
you-
to
I just
know.
wanted you to give it a go.
Yeah,
I've never
The
even
nerve.
seen some of those doohickeys. Wait, put that back up there.
some of those doohickeys.
I think I don't know what the two dots do, but that little I don't know, the little half crescendo-y thing over the G. I don't know what
Half
that is. What does that even
crescendo.
mean? How does that affect the consonant?
Kyle, you know damn well. I have no idea.
I just wanted to bring it to the chat. Really, bring it
Yeah,
to the chat.
my
Just in the
favorite thing
comments
when
to let us know.
when we were first talking about like covering the Traitors and getting the cast pictures, Kyle fully sent a screenshot of that one and said, "Good luck, jeans." I was like, great.
I'm intrigued by her. I think she's fun. I
Mhm.
did not side with her with the Janelle Shield dispute. I definitely
See,
think
what? It's so annoying because the camera angle that they keep showing us, you can't really tell what you're looking at. Like, I don't know who actually grabbed who and who had their hand on it first.
well,
I
to be
can't
honest, I
tell.
didn't even have to see it to know that Janelle was right.
Yeah, no, honestly, when I was watching it, it looked very much like the way Janelle was describing it. Like that Janelle had it was like right there on top of it, and it seemed like Ekin Sue to me was like behind her trying to reach over her. Like that's what it looked like to me.
That's what it looked like to me too, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
I
And even if
lost
Janelle was
it.
wrong and stole it, tough noogies. That's
I lost it at the round table where she was like, "It's fine. I know you're a selfish person. It's
Yes.
okay." And I went, "Oh my god, don't say that."
Janelle was just like,
Right. If they had been wrestling for that thing and Ekin Sue had somehow gotten it away from Janelle, you know that Ekin Sue would be saying she wouldn't be saying anything about how she was selfish for ripping it away from Janelle, you know, like
absolutely
Mhm.
right. But she was just a bitter Betty, which
Yeah.
I give her that. I'd be bitter too, you know. I understand that in the Love Island community, she's affectionately referred to as X.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
That's
Okay.
cute.
Heard that on another podcast. That's all.
Interesting. Okay. Cool,
Yeah.
cool. I think that Gina should like figure out the pronunciation to have it ready for us.
I'm gonna Google
next time.
every interview she's ever done.
Yeah. Although,
She-
actually, Kyle, if you wanted to do it, that could be fun. You could do like a Petty's pronunciation powwow.
I
You
don't think
know,
he likes it. I don't think
some
I don't think he
alliteration,
likes
some
it.
alliteration.
I don't think
for
he
you.
likes it.
I'm not exactly sure why something we just tasked Gina with is all of a sudden back on all of a sudden back in my lap.
No, I was just picturing you being like Ekin Sue, whatever. It would just be very funny. I thought so. And
She also-
Petty's pronunciation powwow was the first thing that came to my mind.
Matt Blevins, I also did think about Pokemon every time that her name was said in this episode. Every single time. I got you.
Mm.
She did also make me laugh. I'm excited to see like how she learns from what has happened around her, because one of my favorite moments of these 3 episodes were after Peppermint's banishment, where they're all walking back like through the castle and she goes, "Well, she said she was a traitor, so I assumed she was a traitor." And it's like, oh, this poor girl's gonna believe everything she's told.
I think she's going to be really fun, though. I want to see more.
I'm
of
excited
her.
to see more of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still
I
think she
agree.
lost the shield fair and square, but I do I want to see more of her. I think I like her.
Well, since
Yeah.
we're on the subject of the shield, we might as well go straight into our next victim here, the Lady Janelle, of course.
My queen.
Why can't I pull up her picture? Show me
She's
Janelle.
there. What do you mean?
I see it there.
No, I know. I'm clicking. Oh, there it is. Okay, we figured it out.
Oh
I thought it
boy.
was already figured out. I had already
Yeah,
seen it for quite some time.
I saw it for like 3 seconds.
Wait, are
before
you serious? I kept clicking
Yeah.
it. Nothing was happening. Oh,
I don't know what you're
no, I don't
talking
like
about. I see
that.
her. Any
Okay, well,
losers?
now
Yes,
I see
Janelle.
her, so that's all that matters.
Janelle first appeared in our lives via Big Brother 6 and has been an affection part of it since then. Love her. Calm Queen. Certainly enjoyed her taking off in the very first challenge to go get that shield.
Oh, she said, "Fuck y'all, I'm
Yeah.
getting the shield."
F everybody else. You tell me it's a shield to get. I ain't worried about
Everybody say
that.
that. Everyone's like, "Janelle, we're still tied up," and she was like,
Bye.
She got out of that rope so fast.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
honestly,
fast.
and she
Far off.
deserved it. Like, make sure you get anybody else out first. Why? I did what I was supposed to. I got myself out. This is what the game is. Like, sorry.
Right. Like, I'm out first. This is the perk of getting out first. You can't tell me that none of you would have done this if you were the first one out.
Right.
So you guys keep untying yourselves. I'll be right back. I'm going to get a shield and I'll be gone for 3 seconds and I can help you.
BRB. She was trucking up that hill. I don't care how
it
old
was
she gets.
so
Nothing.
funny.
Um,
We've had a couple of moments that, like, right out the gate, she's like, "I know what show I'm on." Because even like when they're like picking the traitors or whatever, the second they open their eyes, she was like, "You were breathing very loudly. What's that about?" Like right from the get.
Where's your inhaler? So many ridiculous things. But
My God. And then
yeah.
even just like the way that she's like walking around and talking to people, being like, "We have to go for a man next because a woman is not getting rid of Bananas and Marcus. Like we have to like," and just like the way that she's analyzing literally every piece of this, it's like, oh, everyone else does not know what show they're on compared to Janelle.
No. And everyone else does not know what kind of game they're playing with, what kind of woman she is. Like,
And truly,
people
like,
they don't know her. They
It's
don't
so
get it.
funny because like we saw her immediately align with Dan, obviously, exactly what we'd expect. But
Yeah.
very quickly we see Dan being the first one to clock, like, listen, she's very influential, she's very smart, she probably already has eyes on me. We should be looking at murdering her. Like, I don't know how long we're gonna be able to keep her around here.
It's so
Got a
weird.
murderer.
Yeah.
Kyle doesn't like it. Kyle doesn't like it.
Of course I don't like it. It's my girl. I don't want her to go anywhere.
Yeah, I don't want her to go anywhere either.
Now to the final.
Well, I'm sure we're gonna get many dramatic moments from her coming up, so I'm very, very excited about that.
I also think it's very possible that if Dan does get banished at some point, I think Janelle would make a great recruit. I think she's somebody that people would not have suspected early on. And you know, those mid-game recruits, they're in a very unique position if you can pivot properly. And
Yeah.
I think that Janelle is someone that has a mind that can handle that pivot. Sometimes we see somebody get recruited and then next out, you know, now they're just, easy traitor fodder, right? The traitor figure, we got to give the faithful somebody, we'll give them this new person.
Right.
Janelle is one that is so good at the social end of games like this that people would not, even if her name came up, they wouldn't immediately suspect it. So
Sure.
if you weren't going to make her a traitor from the very beginning, you almost shouldn't.
Especially watching like
She's
how
gonna know what
much
to do with that.
Yeah.
she consistently is gunning for these shields. She's gotten 2 of the 3 shields that were available to her in this game so far. So like no one's gonna think that like, oh well, she wants these shields bad. There's no way she's trying to throw us off course that hard, you know?
Yeah. I do want to like just go a little bit off the beaten path here, you know, because Matt did make a mention here, you know, shout out to the change in format with the shield collecting. What do you think about that? Because I definitely do think it opens the game up a little bit and changes
I really like
how
it.
it's played. You like it? Good.
I really do.
What do you like about it?
I mean, I just feel like it gives the faithfuls a little bit of agency because I feel like, you know, in the previous season, there were ways to win shields here and there, but it's like there's one shield every couple of episodes. And like maybe you might get it. And this at least like puts the ball in the faithful's court of being like, okay, I'm gonna like be able to put the game into my own hands. Because otherwise it's like whoever the traitors want to murder, they're just gonna murder. And yeah, like the social game is gonna help you out with banishments, but there's only so much you can do with the murders. So like to be able to have that safety and earn it for yourself, I think is going to make it a lot more of a give and take.
Now, refresh my memory a bit in terms of like season 1 of Traitors US. How were the shields distributed there? I unfortunately watched so many of these international ones. I don't want to get my lines crossed.
The only one that I specifically remember was like people got like in the mission you could win a chance to go into the armory, and there were like 3 boxes, and one of them was I don't remember if they were all like that or if just one
That's
of them
how
was
I
like
remember
that.
it too, but I didn't know if I was remembering US or UK or Australia.
I just remember
I what I was remembering.
I'm pretty sure Ari won it every single time, and we were like, "What the hell?"
Like 3 times in a row. Like,
Yeah.
but that shows you too. That I think there were literally only like 3 opportunities to even get a shield, and he got all of them. So in this one so far, every mission we've seen 3 available, and in I think in most of them, at least 2 of them went, or maybe there was one where Dan was the only one that got.
Yeah, the first
shield.
and the third, all 3 of them were taken, but Dan won the second one, and no one else
So,
did.
right there, that's more than double the shields that we saw all of last season. So,
yeah, and I think it's also interesting because in the international versions of this too, like you've got an entire team that would get this chance to go to the armory, and they would all go in and see those boxes, and you don't know who actually got it. So when the traitors are sitting down to murder because they don't want to waste a murder, they wouldn't target anyone that went to the armory. So even if you didn't have a shield, chances are you were not going to be targeted. This is in plain sight, so it's like no one's really off the table other than the person that like actually won it. I quite enjoy that. I like it a lot.
So do you think that as missions go on and people are leaving, do you think that we'll go from 3 shields available down to like 2 shields available, and then maybe 1 available, and then eventually there won't be any?
I hope so, because otherwise then there's going to be too much of a number disparity.
Right. If there's 4 people and 3 of them win a shield, that's not fun.
Well, I'm assuming if there's only 4 people left, they won't be doing shields at all anymore. But
where are we? Oh, I know where we are. Next up, so sorry, the one and only Sir Nanas. We hardly knew ye.
We hardly knew ye.
I have to be so honest. I wrote in my notes, the funniest thing they could possibly do is murder Bananas first, but I know it's not going to happen. So when it changed to the next screen and out goes Bananas, I was like, the boys are going to be devastated, but this is the funniest thing they could have done.
I'm upset about it, but I honestly, from a game point of view, I do think it makes the most sense. And I'm not even going to be like one of those annoying people saying like, oh, this is all because like he's the biggest threat. I still don't think you're the biggest threat, but I do think you are a solid one. If there's anyone who would know how to toe that line and be likable enough that people don't want to put up and be intimidated enough by that they don't put him up, like, I don't know, or even like start discussing him. Like, I don't know. It makes really, really good sense. I'm disappointed because I would have liked to see him at a round table.
I know. I knew as soon as it happened, I was like, the boys are going to be so mad, but I'm living for it.
But see, but I'm not even mad. It's like, I'm disappointed just from enjoying the show and enjoying the game. Like, I think these conversations would have been very interesting. He doesn't need to win. He's won enough. But like, just let him get through a cycle or 2 before you did it. I would love to see how he... Because, he just likes to throw things out there just to start shit. And, like, the seeds that he would plant in his first and second round table, then he can go right after that. Because he would have started enough just from those.
Kindling.
We would have been reaping those benefits, like, for episodes to come. So I do think, I think it was a missed thing. But, I don't know. With Kate coming back, I don't think we need him.
Oh, I know. It's so wild. I do agree with like everything you said too about Bananas, because like I'm disappointed that he's not in longer, but it makes sense, like just like you said. And like the one thing that I was thinking, like after he got murdered, because him and CT, like we talked about earlier, like they did so well in that first mission, and so my thought was like, is it smart to get rid of him now, or is it worth it to keep him around for a couple of weeks? But honestly, like it's still a smart move because even though Bananas was such a big part of that first mission, they've had 2 more since then. And honestly, this cast is very capable of racking up a lot of money. So
yeah,
absolutely.
You might as well take him out early.
And from a CT point of view, I actually think it works a little bit better because I think that CT would have ended up falling in his shadow a little bit. I think we're going to see more of CT acting as an individual instead of... It would have been a little bit easier for CT to fall back and like, I don't really know what's going on. Johnny, what's happening? It's like, I don't want to see that version of Chris. I want to see him out there doing his own thing for himself. So I think this will allow CT to fly.
To fly.
Yeah.
To fly.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, that's all we can really say about Sir Nanas. So,
Yeah.
moving on.
We barely knew ye. R.I.P. Sir Nanas.
Well, next we have John. Oh boy.
I love him. I love him.
I like
This
him
poor
too.
Man.
Do you know who this man is?
I do not, honestly.
I just know he was a politician.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Oh my gosh, he is so much more than a politician. He was like one of the heads of like parliament. And I was talking to Bobby like maybe like a month or two ago, and I was like, I'm like, do you ever get embarrassed that like when people see what we do in the House of Representatives and things like that, and how unruly it gets? You sometimes forget that we have an international audience, right? People around the world are watching how much of a mess we are. And then he was just like, Kyle, it's like this everywhere. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he shows me this video of the UK Parliament of people fighting, like arguing, just like we do. And there was a man who turned out to be John. And he's just shouting, order! Order! And I'm like, what is this mess? Right? And then when I see him, and like Bobby was watching it with me, and he's like, wait a minute. I'm like, oh my God, that's that order guy. I'm like, that's him. Like, and I was dying. I was just dying. And I was like, and that
order guy.
Yes, I'm like, that's the order
John,
guy.
That order guy. Oh,
yes.
That's so funny. I do not know of this video, but now I want to.
Say other things about him. I'm gonna pull up a video of him on YouTube and share it because it is so good. It's so good.
I did think it was really funny how when Alan was choosing the traitors, Janelle accused him of like having trouble breathing and like you know him saying that he has asthma, because it was really funny to me because then we saw him in that next mission where they had to run like all over the grounds of the castle, and like he was booking it. He was running faster than like anyone else. So I was like, I mean, obviously we know he's not a traitor. Like other people don't know that. Like they're trying to figure out, why did his breathing change, or why did it get weak or whatever. But like, it is a funny thing that like his excuse was that he has asthma, and then he is outrunning everyone else on the field.
Yes. All right.
And he's like, "Oh, I don't use an inhaler."
Courtesy of our friends at The Guardian News.
Oh no!
Calm yourself, man. Across the chamber. Be quiet, Mr. Jacob. You are overexcitable and you need to contain yourself. It requires you to take some medicament and so be.
You're very welcome.
Oh my God.
Order!
Order! Yes. I was like, that is.
I felt like
this man is on.
Right. I feel like there were some of those where he was like very loud and aggressive, and then there were a few in there that were like, order.
Yes.
Like...
And he did it once at the round table. Did you catch it?
I didn't.
You'll have to
I think I do remember him actually saying order.
We
yeah.
Screamed when we saw it. We screamed.
Oh my God, I don't remember.
He just went, order. And then somebody chuckled and he just went, like, it was so good. It's so good. Yeah, I'm telling you, I love this man. I definitely want to see him in the end too. Like, he is great. And he's talking about being asthmatic, but that man was booking during that scarecrow thing.
Yeah. Oh, he was sprinting.
The thing about John that I love is honestly like bad for his game, but it's great for me because he the first thing that I wrote down when I saw him was, oh, a politician. He's probably gonna be really good at lying. And then we get to that round table where he starts getting called out, like, okay, well, did you or did you not say that you have asthma? And this man does my favorite thing that happens on the Traitors, which is when faithfuls get stressed out and they incriminate themselves so badly for no reason when they're totally innocent. This man could not give an answer to save his life. And they were like, literally, did you or did you not say you have asthma? Just answer the question. And he's like, well, say in what way? What do you mean? And he's like answering her questions with other questions.
Because what he said was, he said that I'm asthmatic. Like he did. That is actually what he said. I believe he said.
He said, he phrased it weird though. He was like, he said something like, he was like, oh, I'm a little bit asthmatic or slightly asthmatic. Like he did say that, but he did say asthmatic. So
yeah, they really like kind of like, I don't know, just
but
really just.
he couldn't even say that. Like, they were like, did you say it or not? And he didn't even say like, oh, actually what I said was this. He just kept like talking in circles until they forgot what their question was. And they were like, literally just give me an answer
Like,
to the
you're
question I
answering
asked
this
you.
question like a politician. He's like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry that I'm not answering the question the way that you want me to answer.
I was like,
leave this old
dude,
man alone,
dude. But
Oh,
also, it's like, you are 100% innocent. You're not a traitor. Why are you making yourself look so guilty? And like a couple of them have done it.
I loved him.
I-
I loved
yeah,
him so much.
I feel like in that moment, it did seem like there were some people coming at him, and I felt like he maybe was just having trouble articulating what he wanted to say, because it seemed to me like he wanted to say like oh, I had asthma as a kid and it's not really so bad anymore. Like, I don't know. It seemed like he was trying to say that at one point to me. I don't remember if he like got cut off or something, but he definitely wasn't doing a very good job of like
It was
helping
it was
himself.
a car accident. I was like, just stop talking. Just stop speaking. Oh God. I'm amazed he's still here, to be honest, but I cannot wait to see what more we get from
Well,
him.
if Janelle has anything to say about it, he's out of here.
Yeah, I'm truly baffled that he made it through that banishment. Well, speaking of people who seem to not really know what they're doing,
Who's next?
we have
boy.
Kevin. Woo! I laughed so hard right out of the gate when people are getting introduced and Janelle turns to him and goes, "Oh, well, you know Johnny Bananas." And he goes, "No." And she goes, "Oh, well, he's from the challenge." He goes,
He won the challenge.
"What
7
challenge?"
times. She's like,
What challenge?
"The
Yeah.
challenge.
Which also made me laugh so hard because he literally was like, "What challenge? What are you talking about with the challenge?" And then later on we get a confessional where he's like, "CT is the craziest player in this game. Like, we know that he is a crazy good competitor." And I'm like, you didn't know what the challenge was an episode ago.
You didn't
What
know
do you
the
mean?
challenge was, and Johnny Bananas has won more than CT. You know, no disrespect to CT at all, obviously, but all of a sudden you're so well versed on the lore of CT, but you didn't even know what the show was.
It made
like,
me laugh so hard. I was like, this poor man he's not long for
I
this
feel like Janelle said, "Hold on,
world."
let's get you another glass of wine. Let's go sit over there. Let me
She
give
said,
you a
"I gotta
quick
teach you some
clinic.
things."
Yeah, let me tell you
A
some
little
things.
rundown on who we got here.
Right.
What is Bling Empire? That's not a show that I'm familiar with.
I don't know what that is either. I'm assuming something about jewelry.
Rich people. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
No idea what that show is.
And honestly, this Sir Kevin is not making me interested in it at all.
Yeah, I worry about him.
It doesn't sound like you're my
worried.
people. You don't even know what the challenge is. Never mind if you don't know the history. You don't know what it is. You're not my people.
He's from the
Right.
challenge. Well, what challenge? No. The challenge.
Right.
The challenge.
But yeah, Kevin's whatever. I feel like
Yeah, unfortunately, that's all I really have to say about him. We haven't really seen him do anything else.
no much of it. Seems like he might be a decent guy. Also seems like kind of a doofus, and that's about all I know.
He might be. Now, who knows?
I hope he learns very quickly and proves us all wrong. But I don't know how
Okay, if he
hopeful I am.
doesn't, I'm gonna say I'm hoping. I mean, it could be nice. But who cares? You could also just go. So Janelle can stay for another banishment. Get out of here.
Well, moving right along,
Sorry, Kev.
we have Larsa.
Larsa Pippin. Now she's a descendant of Scotty.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow. Which certainly, is a connection, I guess, to Marcus, descendant of Michael Jordan.
Correct.
How do you guys feel about having a couple playing?
I would have said it's an advantage and I don't like it, but that doesn't age great. So I guess I don't care.
I was like really not feeling it as soon as they said that, like, oh, we have like this couple playing together. I was like, why are you like, obviously there are going to be some people that come in with pre-existing something. Like that's gonna happen, but like a couple, I don't know about that.
Huh. I didn't really give it much thought. I don't really think it didn't really matter to me. In UK right now, we have a mother and son playing together.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. which I also found jarring because both of them don't know if the other one is a traitor because they didn't tell each
Oh,
other
that's fun.
because they're not allowed. So that's interesting too because she keeps going, I don't know why I'm still here. I should have been murdered. Is my son a traitor? Is he
That is
protecting me?
very fun.
Yeah. And as a very quick aside, since I brought them up, my apologies. They're trying to obviously deflect from the fact they don't want anyone looking at them in that way. So like they were eating dinner and he goes, I love that. I love this roast here. You know, my mother doesn't know how to make a very good roast. And she's sitting like right next to him. And she's like, oh, really? Is that so? Well, you should come over to my house. I'll fix you a nice roast.
Wait, does everybody else not know that their mother?
No one else knows.
Okay.
Only the. Only
I was like, are they
them.
being cute or were they like?
No, only the two of them know, obviously,
That's
and
fun.
us.
Yeah.
So like,
And
so
you
that
see-
was like really fun.
yeah.
So I'm enjoying them together, but like, yeah,
Right.
that's it.
And that's the thing for me, like with couples or like if it's a family relation or whatever, and you're both in the game together, like I prefer it to be something like that, where it's like the rest of the cast doesn't know, and it's a
Sure.
secret that you have to try to keep. You know, like rather than being a couple in the house and everybody knows it, and you know,
Right.
it's just I don't know, it felt kind of weird. But
I
yeah,
will say, Larsa gave me one of my other favorite moments so
What was
far
that?
was when it was right after they went around and picked the traitors, and she was like, I could hear the vibration of Alan's jacket. So I know that a person who is chosen as a traitor is the person on my left. And Parvati is like, what do you mean? And
I was like,
I was
this
like,
Pippin-
not, I heard the vibration of his jacket.
I was like, no one knows what to do because that's honestly just up there with Janelle's. Your breathing changed, and it's like, can everyone just
Your
stop?
breathing changed. I can maybe kind of get behind. Like you notice somebody being like, "Oh God, it's me." I heard
Or, "Oh
the
God, it's not."
vibration of his jacket sleeve. Like that's
Yes, and I know his
crazy.
arm lifted and went back down
Oh,
by the way that his jacket
it's
crinkled, and it's like, cut it
crazy.
out, Miss Pippin.
Oh, it's so funny.
it's like you're in a room with like 20 people. You don't think it's possible that you heard some other person's fabric rustle or whatever? Like,
Oh my God,
I
I'm
felt
like
the
not Larsa with
vibrations.
bionic hearing. Like, what are we doing?
Bionic.
This is
Larsa.
so stupid. Who do we have next? Who do we have next? Ah, Max. Max.
Oh, I liked Max, but you know, his end was not a shock to me, I have to say. Kind of saw this coming a mile away. This is somebody who is not used to these games. Going to be a little bit too honest for something like this, and too good-hearted. This is not for him. You know, this is a dancer. He's a choreographer. He does not understand American culture. We like to backstab and lie. So he's a nice man. He clearly was, you know, very, you don't know, poor thing.
He wasn't very good at like entering rooms and then not being super awkward.
Exactly what I was gonna say. There were 2 times that he walked into a room and people said, "Oh, come on in," and then he went, "Oh no," and he just left. And it's like that is the most suspicious thing you could have done. What do you think you're doing in that moment?
He doesn't know. That's what I mean. He's not built for this.
Okay, but if I just walked into a room of people on a random Tuesday and they were like, "Oh, come in and sit down," I'm not gonna be like, and like just like be a person. Like, what are you doing?
Are you sure though, Gina? Sometimes you get a little skittish.
Well, while that may be true, we're not talking about me.
You said that you are. You said
No, but like there,
you said
but
I
like
wouldn't,
even
I wouldn't. It's like, well,
no, I know,
though.
there's a way to go about it though that doesn't look suspicious.
Right. That is
like
true. You wouldn't leave in that fashion. It doesn't mean
right,
you
I wouldn't
would leave.
pretend oh no, they saw me. Like,
Right. Yeah. That's
I
fair.
do feel like I remember one specific time where he walked into a room and then like didn't even turn around to walk out. Like he backed out and did it like very like a very like dramatic like.
But I thought that he was also trying to be cute. Like, oh, I didn't mean to step in on your conversation. I think that's what he thought he was doing. It's like, oop,
Right.
sorry.
or yeah.
Even though in a game like this, that looks more suspect than
But
like.
also,
what
like,
you're
just
trying to say.
use your big boy words then. Be like, "Oh, I don't want to intrude. I'm sorry. I'll come back later." Like, say
Yeah,
something.
He probably thought he was being like showing some personality. I'm fun and being very jovial, and that's what I mean. He's not built for this because he don't really know what's happening.
He's another person though that like is a perfect example of innocent people incriminating themselves, because the way that he made himself look so guilty by constantly deflecting to other people anytime that somebody said his name. It's like, like why you look so defensive and you don't have to. You're not hiding anything.
Yeah. Just not built for this life, sadly. R.I.P. Max.
R.I.P.
Oh, what an interesting! I didn't even see that. Yeah. I feel like not that I wouldn't too. Like I'll
called out by the chat. That's rough. That's rough.
Just keeping it real.
Oh God.
The chat that we call Strat.
How dare. Anyway, let's circle back around to Mr. Marcus.
Oh.
So sorry.
I liked him.
Did you?
I liked him. Seems like a nice guy, you know?
I had no real thoughts about him. I felt like we didn't see a lot of him other than he was like, Mr. Larsa Pippen. Like other than that, I didn't really know much about him. So
I will say, if memory serves, he was the first person to clock Dan. So it's not like he didn't have eyes in the right places.
Yeah, I think that's why Dan wanted to get rid of him, was because he realized he was going to be a problem.
It was that, but it was also because in that Scarecrow mission, everybody said that they value his opinions the most out of everybody else. They said, well, people are going to listen to him and he's clocking me, so we can't have him here.
Right.
So while we didn't get much of him, he had the potential to be something,
Maybe.
Rest in peace, Marcus.
Peace out,
Mr. Pippen, and we're not talking Scotty.
Oh, stupid.
So stupid.
Next up, unfortunately, I don't have a ton to say about this person yet either, but we have Miss MJ. We just haven't really seen a lot of her yet.
She was kind of suspicious of Dan in episode 3 also, right?
She did clock him.
She voted for him.
Yeah.
And along with, who else was it? I think it was 2 people, MJ and one other person. I can't remember who, though.
I have it in my notes somewhere. I just can't find it.
I'm excited by her. Again, I agree. We haven't seen a lot of her, but what we did see was one of my favorite moments in these first 3, as when Parvati had to now murder in plain sight, and she goes, "I already know that MJ ain't gonna drink out of some rusty cup." I was like, that makes me like MJ even more. They already know what's up.
I don't know Shaw's in Sunset either,
exactly.
so I don't know where she really comes from.
Yeah, but I like her already. You're damn right. She's not gonna be drinking out of some rusty cup. Get the fuck out of here. I think you better.
Yeah,
I'll set it up. That's awesome. I love that.
Also, I just looked it up. MJ voted for Dan along with Larsa. They were the 2 that were because Larsa is out for revenge for her man Marcus. So
she'll have none of it. She'll have none of it, and I like it.
Well, since we already discussed Miss Parvati, let's bring up the people's Blair Waldorf.
Love her. I mean, I came to this conversation loving Parvati. Loved her from Survivor. I think she was a fantastic selection for a recruit. She's just very, very good at reading the room. She knew immediately that Phaedra was not going to accept the public or private murdering of Cherie. And she said, you know what? I got to get out of here. They're not going to accept this. And I like her. I like her a lot. I saw some discourse on Twitter. Do we think that her writing the D, crossing it out, and then writing
I'm so happy you brought this up.
The next name, I'm like, that is a typical Parvati move. That was absolutely intentional. That was no
error.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know if this is gonna come back to bite her or if she's trying to do something here. Like, I don't know her well enough.
But it could come back to bite her, but she's one who will roll the dice in that way. Because she is very, very smart like that. She wants it to be seen that she gave some thought to that and then said no. But it's such a smart way of planting a seed. And that my friends, is history in the making. We are going to see this tactic years to come on the Traitors because that was such a smart thing.
I'm
It just
so
makes me
happy you
so
brought it
excited
up.
to see what Parvati does going down the road because that's something, I mean, of all the international versions that I've watched, and I've watched them all, except for New Zealand. I heard they're really broke and the host is no good. So I didn't watch it. But like the rest of them, like I've never seen that before. And I thought that's groundbreaking. We're going to be seeing that going across the world. Way to go, Parvati.
I was
Across the world.
really excited about
Across
that
the world.
moment.
Everyone's going to be
Yeah.
doing it. Yeah.
That was the second I saw that, I was like, oh, this is intentional. She knows what she's doing.
She came to play. All right. She
Yeah.
didn't come here to leave with nothing. Okay.
What I thought was so fun about her being recruited too is she was in such a unique position where like she didn't find out who the other traitors were until the second murder, but she did know that she was one. So
Yeah,
she
what did you
went
think
into
about that recruitment process? Because that's certainly a change from last season, right? What did you
well,
think
what
of that?
I
Enjoy
what I
it?
think is so fun about it is that she went into the first banishment not knowing who else she was playing with, but knowing that she was a traitor. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, what do you do in this scenario? Do you try to vote rogue? Do you try to throw people off course and like just go with the herd and not vote for the traitors? Do you try to actually suss people out? Do you want to like whittle them down so that you now have better chances? Like, what is
You burn your vote? Like, what do you do here?
right?
Mhm.
I thought it was such a fun, interesting position to be in that we haven't
Yeah,
seen yet.
absolutely. I thought that was a really great twist too. Um, yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And that was so UK did a similar twist. They picked 3 traitors and they selected the last one. The difference with them is that there was no murder in between. Like in lieu of murdering, they recruited their last traitor. Where here we murdered and recruited at the same time, which I think added a layer to that. Because it's like, oh my gosh, I have so much information, but I have no information.
Sure.
Right.
You know, I'm on both sides of this thing, but I don't know who's over there. I don't know what's going on. Each conversation I have to be even more careful with. Yeah, I thought that was a really, really fun thing to watch. And it was so awesome to see a twist like that played out with somebody as smart as Parvati.
Yeah.
I can't
No,
say enough good things. That was so much fun to watch.
Yeah, I had the same thought. I was like, when they're recruiting, I figured, oh, there's not going to be a murder. And then I realized that they were. And then just watching like the next day, like all of Dan's interactions with Parvati, like just trying to go up and talk to her, like
Mhm.
with him knowing that she was becoming a traitor, her not knowing that he was one,
Yep.
like those were really interesting moments to me too.
And I can't wait for Parvati to be ready to murder Sandra.
I laughed so hard right from the top of the show. The first time you see Parvati, she goes, "Oh, well, I don't know. I don't really want to see Sandra." And the camera immediately cuts to Sandra in the next car. And I was like, okay, here we go. Here we go.
And even their first meeting, I think that was like in that little room at the bar. And Sandra comes in like, "Oh, I understand you all know each other." She's like, and I'm like, "Oh, Sandra is so sour. Yeah,
So
I
it's
can't
so
wait
good
to
though.
see more from that.
I'm really interested to see at the top of the next episode how this chalice thing ends up playing out because I am a little worried because she's drawing a lot of attention to herself holding these glasses and holding this chalice and walking the chalice around the house.
She is. All right. Well, I think there's 2 things to that. The cliffhanger led us. Okay. So the original rules were this was a slow acting poison, is what they kind of said. So do we actually see this murder kick off at the next episode, or do we see this murder play out later? As
Right.
to now,
Oh, interesting.
maybe,
Okay.
yeah. What does slow acting mean? How does that go? Is it because it's slow acting because we won't find out until breakfast, or is it slow acting because we have an episode or 2 to go before we get there?
I didn't clock that actually.
Yeah. The other side to that, though, is that it looked like the person that she had her sights on was Pete, right, from The Bachelor. He has a shield. So this may not pan out at all.
Right. Oh, interesting.
Well, I don't know. I didn't really get the impression that I didn't know who she was targeting because she was like, "Oh, and I found my target," and then it ended on a cliffhanger. So I didn't
Yeah, the
really
way
like
the
see.
camera hit, it looked like Berkey and Pete were there. but I feel like I've seen Bergie in some upcoming things, unless I missed it. Like I don't know. You try to look as if like you're some kind of a super sleuth,
Right.
Like,
And
so you
I like as soon as it happened, immediately forgot everybody else who was in the room. So I was like, okay, well,
exactly. So I
guess
don't know.
we'll find out next week. Like,
The only thing I know for sure is that it's not Sheree and it's not MJ.
right.
But other than that, I think because of how much time there was left for her to carry this out, it's got to be a guy because she's got to lean into, oh, why don't you sip this? Because a female is
Mhm.
gonna get out of here. I don't want that nasty cup. A guy might do it because Parvati's hot. So like you're gonna have to lean into
Sure.
that a little bit. Yeah. I mean, I would certainly drink whatever Parvati gave me. Down the hatch. I wouldn't even think about it.
Down the hatch.
Down the hatch. So, a quick aside, now that we're kind of talking about that, like, what if, let's say, the person that received this said, you know what, this cup is rusty. COVID is not gone, right? COVID's not dead. What if I took and just, and my lips never actually touched it? I just kind of just threw it back.
Assume the poison is in the beverage, not on the chalice.
The rule was, though, whoever's lips touched the chalice first. What if lips don't hit it? Failed twist?
I don't know.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun.
Would they do like if Parvati doesn't complete the mission and no one drinks from it, could like she be punished in some way, do you think?
Oh, I hope not. I just hope that we just miss a murder then. That's what I'd like.
Okay.
And then technically you'd be on the same timetable as the UK one, because now that was the murder that would have not happened from the first one. I don't know how to put that, but you see what I'm saying.
I know. Yeah.
It's like a misplaced modifier.
Your little like whatever was happening. I liked it.
Hey, Tasha,
Oh.
welcome back to the chat.
that's-
Tasha says that Parvati said on Twitter they'll be surprised at the person she poisoned. As long as it's
Interesting.
not Princess MJ. I'm only giving her a princess. I don't know that I want to say she's a queen yet. I don't know her. I don't know any of the Shahs of the Sunset. But
Who was on Shah's? Someone from Shah's Sunset was on last season, right? I don't remember his name though.
Reza or something like that.
Oh yes, he was out early, but I do remember him. He was
Yeah.
very
Yes, I
Very
remember
early.
Reza.
It could have been the first episode, Boot. I think it was the first.
It was one of the first.
Spanish. Yeah, he was first. One of the first out.
yeah.
Yeah. So interesting. Yep. Tasha.
Who we got next?
Reza.
Ah, yes. He was not with us for long, but I remember him making quite a splash. Like I remember it being a very big personality. Well, next up we have Miss Peppermint, who had quite a rough ride too.
R.I.P.
She had a tough time.
Yeah, I was sad to see Peppermint go.
Mhm.
I mean, she did, however, contribute to her own.
She
Oh,
did.
absolutely.
She did.
Oh yeah, no denying that. But it was still sad to see her go. It would have been fun to watch her and Trishelle like beef a little more too, like a few more weeks if they were both in there, like going back and forth with
That
each other.
was crazy. Like, I am sorry because they played that clip a couple of times as it went, and the way that Trishelle was like, she looked so guilty. As soon as I said it to her, she was offended. She was mad. Meanwhile, you look at Peppermint and she just went like how
Right,
any
like
of
it
us
was
would have
nothing.
reacted.
It was nothing. It was
It's
literally
like, I
nothing.
cannot believe how out of proportion that was blown.
I also thought honestly, like I know you're looking, everybody in there is looking for every little thing, but
Sure.
and maybe you guys will disagree, but I even felt like when Peppermint misspoke, I think they were all like in the kitchen and she meant to say like, oh, like, well, if you're interested in banishing, if you're interested in not banishing a traitor, like she said it wrong. She meant a faithful, but like everyone took it and just ran with it. And it was like,
I can at least see that what like that probably would have made me think twice too, but like at the same time, I've absolutely done that before, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I've absolutely done that before, but I do agree that, like, unfortunately for Peppermint, in that situation, it's like, okay, I don't have anything else on anyone else. So it's like at this stage, I have to just go with your slip up. It just for Trishelle in the very beginning, the thing that she was latching onto was not that traitor slip. She was focusing on that whole thing about the outfits.
Yeah, so
Right.
stupid.
So stupid. It just felt a little off. Like I just didn't really like love that.
I would probably have the same reaction if it's like one of the first nights of the game and somebody's already like coming up with a reason to say, well, if you murder me, I know you're the traitor. I would probably
again,
be like,
like, it
what
wasn't
do you
even-
what?
I think
But
that's
like that's not even what she did.
reaction
Like
was.
it wasn't even a real reaction. She literally just went like
She was like,
a
what?
cutesy little like
Oh.
you know, like as
Yeah,
like
like-
as any of us would have done if we were ragging on each other. Like it was just like
Right.
a funny little like me,
Mhm.
you know.
So,
Wow.
and just the way that Trishelle hung on to it, I'm like, this is
Yeah,
the
it
Trishelle
felt
I can't stand.
icky.
It's just so Karen-y, you know? It's just,
Yeah,
ugh.
it felt really icky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I'd like to speak to the manager of the manor, please.
Right. I'm calling foul on this foul.
I didn't like it.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Oh, poor Peppermint. I wanted more Peppermint. I like Peppermint.
Yeah, me too.
But
R.I.P.
unfortunately, we move on
Mhm.
to Peter. Hi, Peter.
Hi, Peter.
Hey, Pete.
I don't have a ton to say about him yet. We haven't really seen a lot.
I don't think I have anything to say about it.
I have nothing to say about him. Other than he has a shield currently.
Yes, but also the one thing that I can highlight is that he did come up with that plan to feign a rivalry with Kevin to A, throw people off course that they would be working together, and B, see another piece of like drama that might draw attention away from other people and keep them around longer, which it, you know, time will tell if it works, but at least it's more strategizing than we've seen from some other people.
I just found it weird because, like, I don't know. No one has said Peter's name before, and now for the first time in the game, Peter has gotten a vote from somebody.
Well, no one had said Kevin's name either, and they just like randomly.
No,
voted. And
well,
even
well,
like
but-
Dan was like, "What is happening?"
But at least Kevin got like 2 votes in this, like, so he was going to get a vote regardless.
Did
You know
Kevin
what I
get
mean?
another?
Yeah, there was 2 people that voted for Kevin in that last round table.
The two of them voting each other.
It was Parvati and Peter because Parvati wrote Kevin after she crossed out the D.
Oh, but I don't think that she would have written Kevin had Kevin not already gotten a vote.
But I think she, I mean, at least from what I remember, it looked like her vote was revealed before we got Peter's vote. From what I remember, from
After,
the
but I
edit.
might have been wrong. I don't. They all blend together.
Yeah. But yeah, and they all have to write their names, their votes down at the same time anyway. So it's not like she would have been
Yeah.
able to
Oh,
see Kevin
yeah,
get a vote
yeah.
and then change her vote.
That's fair.
Because they all write it and then have to put them, you know, the slates down. So like Kevin was going to get a vote regardless, and like the only reason that Peter's name has been written down now and people heard it at a round table is because he told Kevin to write it, which I just feel
Yeah.
like it's kind of an odd thing. Like, what if somebody else is going to be like, go talk to Kevin now and be like, why do you think Peter is suspicious? Like, I don't know. It could lead to like people starting to be like, why is Peter's name coming up? And he was the reason that it happened,
Yeah.
which is weird to me. I don't know.
The other thing about Peter that made me be like, honey, just stop speaking. They were at breakfast and he was like, well, if I was a traitor, what my strategy would be is to pick random people to throw people off course so there's no real pattern. And then I think that I would do this. And then I think that I would do that. And it's like, okay, shh, keep your cards closer, A. B, because you're not a traitor, you don't know what the traitor strategy is. And if it happens to be exactly what you said you would do, that's not going to look great for you.
All eyes are on you. And if it isn't what the traders are doing and they think that your plan is good, they'll use it.
Right.
Because he
Like,
said
oh,
it
you know
in
what?
front
He's
of Dan,
right. He's
too.
right.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do that.
Because that was when Dan was like, I mean, he's just not smart enough to know that he's sitting next to bad traitor. But
Right,
I'm clocking you
right.
on your strategy. Like, that was smart. And it's like, well, maybe we don't talk as much next time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Agree.
But we'll see what happens there. I'm much more excited to talk about our next person, Miss
Phaedra.
Phaedra.
And
Oh,
married to
style.
medicine.
yeah. I was like, is she not a housewife?
Yeah, what is that? I need to
Is
watch
she
this.
not? Am I
need more
crazy? Is
Phaedra.
Married to Medicine what she's from? I thought she was a housewife.
I thought she was a housewife, unless she is a housewife too. Like maybe
Maybe, I
she's
don't
done
know.
both.
I clocked this
I
when I
don't
was
know.
taking notes, and I was like, "The hell is married to
Married
medicine?"
to medicine.
And I
So,
think
you
she
know,
said, I think she said she's an attorney also.
She
oh,
did. She
excuse me.
did.
She's a lawyer, yeah.
Yeah, the series chronicles the personal and professional lives of several women in the Atlanta medical community, with 4 of the women being doctors themselves. It has seen 10 seasons on Bravo. I guess I have to check it out.
Wow. All right.
I mean,
Phaedra Park.
I am loving Phaedra. What
I'm loving her.
my favorite thing about Phaedra is that out of everybody in the cast, she understands the assignment, because
She
even
knows
like
why
they
she's
were
there.
doing those like little one-on-ones where they were taking the oath or whatever, and like every time that Dan talks about being a traitor, he's like, "Is
glad I have
me? I'm a traitor. I'm having a great time." And then you see Phaedra, and she's like, "I will complete my mission with everything that I have, and I will make sure." And she's just so like dramatic and serious. Like, this is the most important thing I will
I've
ever have
ever
to
done,
do
and I will
in
ever,
my
ever
life.
do. Right.
I
Yeah.
love
I
her.
love her.
Never take her
Yeah.
off my TV.
Yeah.
I love her too.
Definitely fighting for Phaedra in the final. Absolutely.
Oh, I'm obsessed with her.
Hands down. Hands
Yeah,
down.
there were a couple of things that I really did love, like specific things that she said. Like, I know, Gina, you mentioned when they were, the traitors were taking their oaths,
Yeah.
and like, you know, you'd have Alan asking her like, "Oh, like, do you swear that you're going to murder, one person each night, one faithful each night?" And like her response isn't yes or no, it's just, "I'm a killer." and then right, like, and then there was a point where like she was doing a confessional, and she was like, "Listen, all these people I'm in here, I love them, they're my friends, but they gotta die."
They must die. I was like, "Yeah,
Yes, she's
they
great.
must die." I was like, "Oh, I love her so much."
Yes,
Yeah, she's great.
It's
She's gonna be
fantastic.
so much fun. I did also laugh at like she just excused herself from the Chalice conversation. She was like, "I'm not gonna be a part of this. You two figure it out. I'm not doing it." And then all of a sudden she sees that like Sheree might be a target, and she was like, "Not on my watch." And it's like, girl, maybe be in the conversation then. Like, oh god, it's
Yeah,
so
and I'm
funny.
happy about that too, because I didn't like that she was removing herself from that conversation, because you
I
never
didn't
want
like it either.
Yeah, I didn't like it because like you are an OG trader and you recruited Parvati. Don't ever put yourself in a second place
Yeah.
situation. Like you need to have a seat at the table each and every time. Do not remove yourself from it. You think it might make you a little bit safer because you're not part of the decision-making body, but no, like we can't be doing that.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that she stepped up after that, but I don't want to see that from her again.
Right. 'Cause I do
Yeah.
feel like
To make decisions, because that is how. Because at some point in this game, the traders will start working against each
Oh.
other. You don't want to be the one that they're working against. If anything,
right.
be working against Parvati because she was the new one, if you want to go by
Right.
those rules. But
Right.
fodder, whatever they need to be. If people are floating Dan's name, get Dan out of here. That's how this
Sure.
one goes. If you need to give them somebody, give them the one they're saying already. But
Right.
you got to be part of the conversation each and every time. That's all.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
totally agree with that. Like, if you choose to exclude yourself, you're giving the other two traitors an easy reason to like
Mhm.
form more of a bond, and even hold it against you that like you're the one that's risking by having to sneak into the library and take the chalice and figure out who to give it to. Like,
Mhm.
if Phaedra didn't want to participate in the next like mission that they get or whatever, like maybe Parvati and Dan start to say, like, why are we the ones taking all these risks?
Yeah.
Like the faithful, they need to get a traitor out. Let's plant the seed about Phaedra and get everybody to vote her out. Like, I could see that happening if she doesn't want to get her hands dirty in some of these little twists.
Also, I
Right.
remember like at the end of last season, we had 2 traitors in the end, and Sari was straight up like, "Listen, Ari joined later. I've been doing it the whole time. I worked harder. Ari's got to go. Bye."
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I certainly understand the argument of obviously not. She doesn't want them all to be seen together, but we have now seen this chalice thing in UK too, and they didn't all get together in one, but they had separate conversations all around the
Right.
manor. It's like, so you can still be part of the conversation and not have all 3 at the same time. Just don't leave major decisions like a murder up to the other 2, because you're putting yourself in a lower position. You should never be seated below.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Definitely. Completely can't agree more. Love Phaedra.
And that's KP on that.
Anything else on Queen Phaedra before we
No.
move right
Except
along?
Not
that
right-
she actually deserves the designation of queen, so thank you for giving it to
Yeah.
her.
Of
Not-
course. I'm
I
going to
didn't
call
give
her
it
by
to
the correct
MJ,
name.
But,
Yeah.
but
All I'll say is I have nothing else on her right now, but I know we're gonna have a lot more this time next Monday.
Yeah.
for
Moving
sure.
right along, that brings us to Miss Sandra. I really wanted her to be the recruit. I'm going to be so honest. I wanted Sandra as a traitor so bad.
I would have been here for a Sandra traitor situation, but I think she's going to also give us a lot of good television just as a faithful too. I think she's going to be one of those people just pointing fingers all over the place, and she's such an intimidating force that she'll make anyone tremble. So you want to talk about people becoming undone at the round table? Sandra can single-handedly do that. Who was she talking to? And she's like, this and this happened. Can you explain why?
Yeah, so she was calling out Max because he was laughing during Peppermint's
That's
banishment.
what
She was like,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
everybody else was really serious and really like upset, and you were laughing. Why?
Can you
like,
explain
whoa.
why? Because even the way that she says it, and she just has a way of speaking that's so naturally intimidating
Yep.
that, like, yeah, her as a faithful is going to be really fun to watch too. So like, I'm not upset that I'm not super disappointed because of the way she questions. She's going to get what we need either way.
I also could see her being like a later season recruit, like later in the season, and that would almost be more fun. Like I almost would prefer, like you said, I want more of her as a faithful, and she could be a very fun one that like halfway through the game or even a little bit, past the halfway point of the game, if she gets recruited as a traitor, to then see how she adjusts her game going from a faithful to a traitor. But I agree that like I wouldn't have wanted her to be recruited that fast. Like I want to see,
Yeah, she could be another late stage recruit like Janelle or something that could be really fun to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, and I am bummed that we haven't seen a lot of her in these couple of episodes, but her time is coming.
That's okay.
So I'm excited to see what we get later on.
You got to be patient. It's coming. It's coming. And you wait until Sandra meets Kate. She ain't gonna like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A dream.
I'm laughing already.
Next up, we have Sheree, another Real Housewife. Haven't really seen a ton of her yet either. Yeah.
I don't know her. I like her because she seems to be closely linked with Phaedra. So that's usually enough for me.
It's her because she seemingly was the only one that clocked how ridiculous that Peppermint Trishelle thing was, where she was the one sitting there being like, I think we're maybe making a big deal where there isn't one. So I don't really know why we're still talking about it, but sure, whatever. And she was mad when Peppermint was banished.
Didn't she end up voting for Peppermint though?
She did, and then she was pissed when she realized that she voted for someone innocent.
Yeah, I will say that moment for me felt slightly performative because she's like, now I'm pissed, and it's like, well, are you? How pissed can you be? You had a hand in it. Like, even if you didn't agree with it, your vote is still your vote. Like,
right, because while she may have been one of the only people to say something in Peppermint's defense, there were other people that I feel like didn't vote for Peppermint that didn't speak up for her. So like you had every excuse to like change your vote. Peppermint probably still would have gone. You wouldn't have been alone out there on your own. And and also this wasn't the first time. This roundtable wasn't the first time where the whole Peppermint Trishelle argument came up, and I feel like she definitely had an opportunity to speak up for Peppermint earlier, which I don't think we saw.
Yeah, so but
I do like her though.
I still like her. I call shenanigans in the Peppermint discourse.
Fair enough.
I think that's fair.
Who do we have next? Miss Tamra. Another housewife.
Another lady I don't know.
Tamra sat out of the first challenge, and I was mad about it.
Yeah,
apparently she was ill.
I was like, why are we already sitting out?
But she was the other person that teamed up with Janelle to challenge John regarding his inhaler. Like when they were
even that, like
she was inhaler. He's like, no. He's like, bullshit.
Yeah, she was. I liked that right from the get. She was big brained enough to be like, I remember you said this, and now I'm going to test you. So watch this. Let's see how much you remember about what you have been saying.
Yeah, you're not going to get anything past her. So like, she does excite me, even though I don't know her. Yeah.
Yeah, just from that moment alone, I was like, okay, you're looking at the right things.
Yeah.
Like, you know what to pay attention to.
Just her name kind of freaks me out. Did you ever see The Strangers? Like the horror
No.
movie?
Yeah, I
seen it.
have.
The way the movie kicks off is with one of the strangers knocking on the door. And it's like, is Tamra home? And this is the only time I've ever heard Tamra before. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh.
Yeah, you-
Like, immediately got like a chill down my spine. Spooky ookies.
Oh my god.
Silly aside. If we're following alphabetical order, I don't want to discuss who's next.
Well, she last and possibly
certainly
least.
least.
I did
have
add two
one.
other photos, by the way.
I did see that, and we will get there. We'll end on a high note.
But it'll be quick. It'll be quick, yeah.
But first, we gotta. So now, Real World Las Vegas, is she also a challenge person that I just don't know because it's before my time, or do they know each other from the real world? Gotcha.
No, she's also a challenge person. She's been on
Yeah.
challenge for several seasons.
But why don't
just-
they get along?
Honestly, I don't remember. Like that.
Oh,
That was so long ago. Like it almost, they act like you almost feel like these people are like real life friends. Like, oh, I just know y'all don't get along. I don't even remember why. Like,
Sure.
I just know it doesn't work. But like this behavior from Trishelle is just what I'm so used to. Like she created this whole situation around Peppermint, and like I didn't like any of it, and I don't like her, but I would have a little bit more respect for her if she owned some of it. Because immediately after, it's like, well, this wasn't really my fault, and I didn't really do this. It's like, no, but you did though.
Yeah.
You did. And like other people, when they call out somebody and they end up being wrong, it's like, all right, I got it wrong. Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. She still said one thing, and then this other thing happened, and this other thing happened, and blah, blah, and it's like, Trishelle, no one was talking about any of the other things that you mentioned against Peppermint until you brought up these things, and you were going so hard on your stuff. So stop acting like you didn't have anything to do with it. It's like it's just typical Trishelle.
Yeah.
To start
totally
something that
agree.
doesn't pan out correct, and now I had nothing to do with it. It was everybody else. But then at the same time, it's not her fault, but she feels like garbage and she's going to start crying, and she wants you to sympathize with her.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it is. I mean, you want to
my
talk about
favorite kind of
gaslighting.
person.
Yeah, I'm like, boo. I have literally nothing good to say about this woman. I just hate her so much, and her stupid hats. Oh,
Yeah, I think she sucks. That's what I think. I think she
so
sucks.
hard.
Yeah. It's probably my least favorite person in the cast.
far.
That's
By far.
fair. That's fair.
Yeah. So there you go.
And that's it. She
Well,
stinks.
that is our cast, but as John said, he did add in a few more pictures. So of course we have to discuss our other queen.
She's coming back.
She is
She's coming back for another round. The
Send
woman
me
that was
home.
like,
Do we
I don't
know-
wanna be here.
Do we know in what capacity? Because I missed all of this and then started seeing people tweeting about like, oh, they're coming back. They're coming back. I don't know.
From,
I don't know the exact capacity, but it does sound like she's coming back as a player. If you check,
from what I've read, she's going to be competing on the show with everybody else. Like she's
Yeah.
coming back as a full competitor.
Well, I mean, she
you-
was by far my favorite part of last season, so I'm elated to see her again.
yeah, and you look
I
at
can't
the
wait.
Traitors season 2 wiki. She's listed there as a contestant, but where it says faithful or traitor, it says TBD. So she's coming in as a player.
Right.
Not that
Fun.
Wikipedia is all of a sudden the gospel, you know, but
Yeah.
Literally, the way that I have never in my life cared about Below Deck, and after last season, I was like, do I have to watch everything that Kate Chastain has ever been on in my entire
all
life?
10 seasons now.
Ooh, obsessed.
Yeah.
And while we're on the subject of Kate, we also have one, Dr. Will.
I don't care about this at all.
Yeah.
Is this the
Apparently
same? Is he also coming back as a player, or is
No,
this?
so from what I've read, because Kate posted this, she posted a story from Entertainment Weekly on her Twitter. So Kate posted this article saying that she was coming back along with Dr. Will. But in the Entertainment Weekly article, it mentions that Kate is coming back as a player. She's in the game competing like everybody else, but that Dr. Will was only appearing as a special guest, in quotes. And the other thing that they used to describe it was that there's no date that's been given for Kirby's appearance, but sources tell Entertainment Weekly that he will be making a very dramatic entrance, and it could lead to
Expect
appearances
nothing less.
yeah, and apparently it could lead to appearances in future seasons.
I don't care. I'm over.
I do
that
wonder-
shit. Who cares anymore?
Yeah, I don't care either,
I
honestly.
don't care. Like, I'm sorry. I feel like that's like not the popular opinion here, but like, Fuck off. If you're not going to compete, you're not gonna, who cares about your opinion anymore? Like, all these games that you're always commenting on and giving all of your opinion, they have advanced and gone so far past what you did in your season of Big Brother that, like, who cares anymore? Doctor.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care.
I mean,
about him
I do
anymore.
remember after the first episode, we saw like we saw a little like next on, not like the big next on that we got after like the third episode, but I did see something about like a secret player. I don't know what that is, what we're getting out of that.
It's supposed to be Kate.
Yeah, I think it's Kate.
Is that what that is?
I think
I'm
so.
assuming at this point. That's what.
But no, is this somebody that's going to be playing without actually interacting with people? Is she going to be like sequestered from everybody, but still a part of the competition? Like, I'm just interested in how the secret player is going to work.
Did you see? I think it was after the first episode. They showed like some other house. It looked like a white house that, like, the traitors, like, there was like a piece of paper with the traitors like seal, you know, keeping it closed or whatever. And Alan like mentioned something about like, oh, my secret player, blah blah blah. And then the next announcement we get is that Kate is coming into the house as a player. So I'm assuming that like she's been staying somewhere else on the property for a few days, and then they're gonna, you know, bring her out. Maybe she'll just be at the next mission, or she had COVID.
Yeah, there's that. Well, she was also pregnant, no? Or well, how long ago was she?
Well, she was pregnant at the reunion. That was like a year ago now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then maybe not.
I just want to see her just throwing more gold away. I told you to send me home. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Nothing to me. So James very recently got into the Traitors. Like, as this season was starting, he was like, I have to watch the first season, especially because he fell in love with Suri after Big Brother, as one does.
Right.
And we were talking about, like, I had forgotten my favorite thing that Kate did on the show, which was there was an aerial view of the entire table, and she had just written "Help me" on her slate and just like held it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I can't believe she's coming back, because no one has ever wanted out of anything more than Kate wanted. She was like, literally, please banish me. I want to go home. I don't want to be here anymore. Banish me. I'm begging you. Murder me. Why can't I go home?
Right.
she was literally like, in an effort to get herself sent out, she was in front of people's faces, purposely dropping gold on the way as they're doing this like mile long, however many mile long hike up a hill. There's people. I think it was that one where those people, like, they were pushing like those gigantic barrels. Like, you needed like five people to push them, and she's just holding like two tiny little bags of gold and just being like, boop.
Like, if I lose them, they gotta get rid of me, right? That's how this works. They're not gonna want me. I'm gonna lose them all their money.
So stupid.
Oh God, I love her so much.
Really good, really good stuff on Super Jazz. And then she agrees to come back. That's the irony of the whole thing.
Right, now she's coming back after all that. I love it. I love it.
I'm so excited.
My cheeks hurt.
Well, the only other like little notes or whatever that I had were just like general things, because I did notice, I don't remember if I paid attention to this last season, but I feel like if you're somebody who like knows the way that these shows get edited really, really well, you can like pick up clues in a lot of places other than just like what's laid out in front of you. Because specifically, I feel like every time they come into breakfast, the last two people that they bring in and then the person who is murdered are the people that are the potential murder victims, because they want the edit to be really suspenseful. So they name 3 people and then only 2 are left, and then the one person that's murdered.
Yeah.
So the last 2 people that walk into breakfast are always the potential murder target. So if you're like sitting there at the breakfast table and you're paying attention to who's coming in when, I feel like it's really easy to narrow down.
Yeah, it's very, very telling. You could say that about Big Brother as well. You even just think about the voting order and things like that. I think that
Chada has said that before. Yeah,
that can certainly turns you on to certain things. In that same vein, I kind of miss the individual entrances, and I can't remember if America did that or not. But in other
we got groups.
We did get groups.
Yeah.
See, I think in Australia, people like to come in like one by one. Every now and then, you'll get 2.
Australia, yeah, you get one person coming down those stairs,
and that is so much more interesting, because like I don't know, you get certain conversations that you would not have normally gotten. Like you'll get one person sitting at the breakfast table alone because they were the first one in, and the next person comes in and they have a quick conversation. They're kind of like comparing notes, and then somebody else comes in. It's like, oh, now you decide, do I continue this conversation or do I stop? And that tells you as a viewer what that person thinks of that incoming person. You can infer so many different things. These group entrances are for the birds, as far as I'm concerned.
For the birds.
They don't really bother me though, because like I feel like a lot of times eventually they'll start to try to, like, if it's 2 or 3 people coming in last in that last group, like, they're going to put at least one traitor in there a few times. So like, that kind of mixes things up. But then I also feel like it seems obvious to us, I think, because we're watching the traitors have these conversations about who they're considering putting up. But like the faithful have no idea that the last 3 coming in were all discussed by the traitors. Only the traitors know that, So like to them, it is very random to them, because
that only works season 1. If you watch now, it's like you can start to infer how this goes. All you have to do is watch more than one season.
Or even I feel like
one together.
I feel like people who have been on these shows are a little more seasoned in like what to look for too. So I'm surprised that like, I mean, maybe we do and we just don't see it because like that's not something that would be a conversation they would clip in. But like,
right, that's also.
I don't know. I feel like somebody somewhere must be like paying attention to who's going when.
Right, and this is where Max of Dancing with the Stars and people from like Bling Empire who don't even know what the challenge is. Like those are the things that they won't pick up on. But I would expect a Dan, Janelle,
right,
maybe a CT. See, the challenge is not really edited that way. I guess it depends on the season, but there definitely are people in there that I would imagine should be able to pick up on that, especially Dan and Janelle. As strategic as they are.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I hear that. I think Bananas would have been the type of person that could pick up on things like that.
Sandra, Parvati also should know.
Mm-hmm.
And if Kate cared more, that's something she should be able to pick up because she played this.
She's done it before, yeah.
Right.
Maybe she was excited to, come back, and she's been doing her homework. She's been like analyzing her last season, taking notes. She just had a kid, so she's been home probably.
That's the energy she's going to come in with. You can't pull nothing on me. I already did this before. You're definitely a traitor. Yeah, she's going to be great. I can't wait.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I hope she's not a traitor. I hope she's a faithful. She's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, yeah, the only other note that I had is that I was very excited that Alan has a puppy this year. We see the little puppy who also has a little costume, and I like
what
it.
Is it? Lala or Lulu?
I
honestly don't even remember the dog's name. I just said a dog, and that was the extent of my
L vowel. L vowel.
That's because Gina hasn't heard the name because every time the dog is on the screen, she just keeps going, "Ee!"
Accurate. No lies detected.
Funny.
Yeah,
I definitely agree with this. Maybe they have picked up on some of these things. We just haven't seen their thoughts. Right. Like,
I feel like that's just not something that they would,
They're not going to edit those things in because they don't want the casual viewer to know these things.
Sure.
Us granular deep divers, we're a little bit different. But the regular layperson would not. I know. I just like elevated us and with absolutely no credentials or anything.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's all the notes that I had. Did either of you have anything else you wanted to discuss?
No.
I did have just one thing, and it's
what you got?
It's this.
Manwan Monday.
It's been a while since we were here. It's been a while since we were here on a Monday.
Come here into my show.
I thought that. I was like, how dare you during Gina's stream?
Sorry. It's Monday.
When
it's
I
Monday.
am in charge.
It's Monday.
The one time I get the reins.
It's Monday. I don't know what to tell you. It's Monday.
It's not my fault. That's the day.
It's Monday. Yeah.
The nerve.
It's been a long time since we did a Monday. You have to play Mon Monday.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. It's been like
Sure. Whatever you say.
But when are we doing the Traitors again? I don't want every Monday to be everything. Oh God, I like
I
having
know.
a night
Well, I
off.
feel like we have to figure out what time it's actually airing because I could
9
have
p.m.
sworn for
Yeah, I think
sure I
9.
thought it was 6 on Thursdays.
The last I saw, I thought 9.
Everything I've seen on the twits was 9. I
If
would love
it's-
6. 6 would change a lot to me because 9 is right smack. Unless we move the challenge to 8 and then do Traitors at 10:30.
We're the conversation. We're the conversation.
Just to
Well,
keep it on one
yeah,
night.
yeah, that could work.
I don't know how that affects Kyler. Where's Kyler?
We love Kyler.
Matt wants
Yeah,
to know if Crack Saturdays come back. That is where the Traitors were a lot of the time last.
That was.
But see, that was also different too because we only did like 3 streams with the Traitors because of how they dropped it, right? Wasn't it like 1 to 4, then 4 to 8 in the final? This is 1 a week. I don't know that I want to say bye-bye to every Saturday night.
I could see it being, if we
Who am I kidding?
if we did one or 2 throughout the season, maybe I'd be down for that. But I could see that.
Yeah, I'm also
not
being
happening every
stupid.
week.
I don't go out on Saturdays anymore, and if I do go out, I'm certainly home before midnight. I am not the party I used to be.
No.
I gotta get home. I'm old. Yeah, not.
I guess we'll discuss off stream and we'll update the people on when we'll be back. But before that, we're doing the challenge on Thursday. Oh, well, if we're discussing times, we will let you know what time we will be back and when.
Right. Where can they find those answers? Where can they find the answers to all these
questions? I'm so glad you asked, Kyle, because it turns out that you can find the answers to all those questions and more on our socials at Strat Chat Pod. On every social media, we have the Twitters, we have the Instagrams, the TikToks. We're on Blue Sky. We can't dismiss. Oh, are we not on Blue Sky anymore? The one time
we're there, but I think the last post for Blue Sky probably happened in September during BB.
Okay, forget I never said Blue Sky. What's Blue Sky? I didn't say it. No, I would never say that. That's what. Who?
It has not been Clue or Blue for quite some time.
These guys are not Clue, nor are they Blue.
Sure hasn't. See, when was the last Blue Sky post? Now I'm very curious. Oh, 3 months ago, October 5th. I said 49,000, Felicia. What kind of math is that?
That is the last thing that was posted on Blue Sky. Yes. Never change it.
Thanks, Kyler.
Locked in my calendar. Yes, no, definitely.
Kyler, we need you.
Definitely on Thursdays. But whether it's 8 or 9:30, that is the new conversation.
Remains to be seen. But we will we will update you on the socials when we will be back. But you can also find this stream, all of our previous streams, all of our future streams on the YouTubes, audio only, anywhere that you podcast, Strat Chat Pod, everywhere that you want to find us. If you wanted to be very, very nice and you have fun with us and you want to leave us a review and tell us how much you'd love us, that would be great. We would love that. But yeah, I think that is pretty much it. I'm so happy that nothing bad happened on my first time leading the stream.
See? Not so bad.
Why would anything bad happen?
I don't know. I was very nervous, but we made it.
And even if something tricky happened, I mean, that's the whole point of having 2 other people here. We're not just going to sit here and just watch you burn. Like, we're going to figure it out.
Watch you burn.
But we made it. We did it. And we will be back on Thursday at some point, and we will let you know when. But other than that, I think we are out of here.
We are indeed.
Well, no.
Thank you all.